I'm Mike Esneault, and welcome to the Arts Council of Greater Baton Rouge's AC23 Artist Legacy Series podcast. This is a series where we talk to artists who are doing amazing things in the areas of the arts, including performance, education, production, as well as arts advocacy. We record this series in the Virginia and John Nolan Black Box Studio, as well as in the Jan and Bill Grimes recording studio here at the Carrie Siraj Community Arts Center. Be sure to visit artsbr.org for more information on all the great things we are doing here at the Arts Council of Greater Baton Rouge. Hope you enjoyed the podcast series, and thanks for tuning in.
Everybody, come on out to the Zydeco dance. Bring your baby walking hand in hand. Oh, she looking good tonight, yay. 2 fingers in the air, y'all. Waving around like you just don't care. 2 fingers in the air, y'all. Zydeco is gonna take you there. Everybody, come on out to the dance tonight. Bring your baby walking hand in hand. Oh, she looking good tonight, yay. 2 fingers in the air, y'all. Wave around like you just don't care. 2 fingers in the air, y'all. Zydeco is gonna take you there. Come on, Mike, get some. You back. Remember back in the Remember back in the day? Yes, indeed, Mike. I took you back, bro. I took you back to 1990 what? What was that?
That would be
94?
90,
No.
80, 88, probably.
My bad. Yeah, that's
I'm thinking early college.
Yes, it is. There it is. Yes. 88, 89.
Well, I would like to welcome all of our AC23 Artist Legacy listeners and viewers to another session. And this one is, I'm excited about them all, but this is special because I have an old friend. Well, you just heard it. We go back to college, 1987, 1988.
Yes.
Mr. Sean Ardoin.
What's up, babe? What's up?
You're what's up? It's going to take me forever just to get through this resume before we can even do the interview.
Okay, listen.
But let me get started. So, Mr. Ardoin is, fix me on any of these facts, but I'm
Gotcha.
5-time
Yes.
Grammy nominee.
Yes.
Let me step back. And just,
Oh, come on now. Look, I'll trade you one of those nominations for one of those Emmys.
we're not going to talk about that.
One for one.
Shit.
A win for a nom.
Okay, you can stop that now. You can stop. All right.
Yeah.
So Sean is really we're going to talk about this, but I consider him an ambassador, if you will, of Zydeco music because you're part of that lineage, and
Yeah,
we're
the
going to
Creole
get
culture,
into
for sure.
how that all is. But let me go back to the accolades. So you have the 5 Grammy nominations, for various things like albums as well as best roots performance. Is that one?
Best American Roots Performance before there was a regional Roots Performance. So I'm the only artist in regional Roots to have jumped out into the singles category.
Oh, okay.
Because that's over 500 entries of Americana entries.
Gotcha.
And I call Americana the previously famous and the singer-songwriter category.
Yeah.
So it's got like 500 and some entries every year. And so to pop out and get, for Kick Rocks to get top 5 that year was just amazing. I was with John Baptiste, Anderson East, Brandy Carlisle, and Willie Nelson.
Talk about some good
and
company.
Me.
Well, and rightfully so, you know?
Yeah.
Well, so that's quite an honor. And
the rest were albums, though. The rest were albums.
Okay. Well, so I want to talk about your history and how you got started, but you've also you played around the world. You played Carnegie Hall. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yep.
You played in one of those jazz fests.
Oh yeah.
Many festivals. I'm sure.
Yeah, festivals all over the world.
Some other things. I'm kind of looking at my notes here. So you've been on Stephen Colbert's show.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
How was that?
Man, that was phenomenal. It was crazy. It's like, you know how when you're somewhere and you don't want to really be super assertive, but you probably should have been.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So like John Baptiste got me on there.
Yeah.
Right, because we did Shorty Fest, and I said, hey man, he said, Shorty was like, you should get him on Stephen Colbert. He was like, yeah, done. Give me your number. Take my number down. I was like, sweet. So
that's how it happened.
That's how it happened.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and so I'm there and I meet Stephen. Meet him, but I don't ever, make sure he's gonna say my name. Mm-hmm. Right. So I did, and I don't have a manager with me. It's just me.
Gotcha.
So that's one of the drawbacks of being everything for yourself.
Gotcha.
Right?
And we can talk about the business in that.
Yeah, we can talk about it. But in that
yeah.
particular instance, had I had a manager there, or at least somebody there to be like, okay, so here's his name. So if you should want to say his name, this is his name. Mm-hmm. Because we come out killing. The audience is buzzing. They're like, and he's like, woo! You can watch it. I got it on my YouTube. He's like, woo! He said, all right, that was awesome. Give it up for the band. They touch back to us, mm-hmm. and we're like, yeah. And he's like, I know from being a host, mm-hmm. he don't remember my name. And at that instance, I go, I didn't do my job. Mm. I should always make sure they write it down or have somebody be like, so he can reference it. Sure. Because he didn't. He was giving us applause, and they kept applauding because it was jamming, mm-hmm. but he couldn't give me the shine and say, Sean Ardoin, ladies and gentlemen. He couldn't do it because he didn't remember my name.
Right.
Oh, missed opportunities.
Live and learn.
But live and learn.
Yeah.
It'll never happen
Next
again.
time.
It'll never happen again.
Well, you've been on Stephen Colbert. You've done MTV's Road Rules.
Real World, Road Rules.
That's hard to say. That's like
Real World, Road Rules, Fraternity Life, Sorority Life. All
like
doing it MTV
exercise.
times. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. NCIS New Orleans.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
That was phenomenal, man. Fun fact about that show, it's now defunct, but all the music on
I love that show, by the way.
I know, bro. All the music on that show mm-hmm. was done day of shooting. Mm-hmm. They mix it, you record it, mix it, and then play what you just recorded to.
Yeah.
And you perform what you just recorded to. Mm-hmm. So it's literally them doing it live that day. I was like, this is cool. And my episode is I think it's Sheepdog. So if y'all want to go look at it, it's called Sheepdogs.
Okay.
And my episode opens with me.
I know I saw it.
Like it opens up and the camera pans up and we start jamming.
Right.
Where
were y'all set at? Like was it a club or something?
In the quarters, in the quarters under a pavilion.
I got you.
So it starts up, we're playing and everybody's jamming. It's like a party or / small mm-hmm. festival, and then a car explodes in the quarters. Oh. And that kicks
That's one way to shut the band off.
That's to shut the band off. They're playing too much. Let's shut them off. Yep.
Man.
And yep. And then
look,
Queen Sugar.
Say that again.
And then Queen Sugar. You got that on there?
Yeah, I overlooked it, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Queen Sugar. That was
Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, Oprah Winfrey. That was just kind of big because that show was hot when it was out, and we played at the Queen the Sugar Queen episode or mm-hmm. whatever, and that just instances of being ready. So I got the call sheet to go and do it. And it said, playing Zydeco music. Mm-hmm. So I'm not just an extra. I'm a feature. Mm-hmm. So I go. They send me the music. None of it's Zydeco, but I understand that's what they got cleared.
Okay.
Right. So I get there and they go, hey, you ready? What'd you think? So which song did you think? I said, none of them. They go, what do you mean? I said, I'm here to do whatever you need me to do. But if you want to piss off a whole state, have me do that. I said, because none of that is Zydeco. But, it's clearing. I said, I understand that. I have music. That you own? I said, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you have it with you?
Yeah.
I said, yes.
Right.
How many you want? She said, give me 5. I said, here's 5.
Mm-hmm.
Use all 5. They were like, It was like,
There's the business.
It was like, we'll just check it out. We'll check it. And they came back, oh, my God, Sean, we love all 5.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, use all 5. No, we only need 1. Well, whichever one y'all want to use.
Right.
And they used it. And they used it for like minutes.
Well, and we both know what that means.
You understand what that means.
Yes.
It was playing in the background.
Well, and I applaud that. Like that's a great example of marketing yourself.
Man.
Being in the moment, marketing. Well, thinking ahead, but marketing.
Yeah, always being ready.
Right.
You got to be ready for the opportunity when the opportunity presents itself.
Right.
You can't get ready.
And you also had the goods.
And I had
when
the
they
goods.
listened to it, they were like, "We like this."
Yes.
Yeah.
And regardless if whether, and not to toot my horn, but regardless of whether it was good or not, it was appropriate, and I had it. But thank you for saying it was good. But yeah, man, you got to always be ready for the opportunities because you never know when they're going to come.
Right.
Like that opportunity for Stephen Colbert to say my name and me to have the video of him saying my name.
Right.
I dropped the ball.
But even backing up a little further, the opportunity presented itself because we both know in the freelance world, it's all the associations.
In the world.
Trombone Shorty, John Batiste. I mean, that's what led to that.
Well, I motivational speak, do corporate and I do kids and whatever. And one of the things I say is life happens at the speed of relationship. Mm-hmm. Everybody says that. Yeah. So my Sean-ism that I added to that was, and your relationships will determine the speed and direction of your life.
Yeah, you're right.
Your fire 5. And I go through this whole thing about your fire 5. Who are the 5 people you spend most of your time with? They will infect you before you affect them. So make sure that you're on the same path.
Oh, wow.
Because if not, they're holding you back.
I love hanging out with you.
If they ain't pushing you forward, they ain't pushing you forward, they're holding you back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
So, who's your fire 5? Yeah. And if it's only 2, even better.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, man, take me back. Let's go to the roots. So
the roots.
You're from originally where?
Lake Charles, Louisiana. Originally born, this was recent, my last nomination, some really genius reporter read somewhere that I was born in Eunice. Mm-hmm. And so they said Eunice native. And I'm like, no, I was just born there. I was living in Kinder, Louisiana. Right. But Lake Charles is what I call home because that's where I spent my adult life from 11 years old until left to go to LSU and then went back after in 1999. Okay. So, but yeah, Lake Charles, Louisiana is where I call home.
Now, if people Google you, they'll find real quick on the internet, the connection to the history of Zydeco music. But can you say in your own words, the lineage and the significance of that?
So Amédé Ardoin is an ancestor of mine. He's considered to be the father of modern Cajun and Creole music. And from that, his first cousin, Alphonse Boissec Ardoin, is my grandfather. Okay. And he taught my grandfather how to play. My grandfather started playing his older brother's accordion, and Amédé really helped him hone his craft. Okay. And then so my grandfather was Alphonse Boissec Ardoin, and he was a legend in Cajun and Creole music until his passing. And his sons, the Ardoin brothers, my dad and my uncles, were I credit with almost single-handedly keeping Creole music alive in the 60s and 70s into the 80s because there weren't bands that were regularly gigging, and they were gigging every weekend.
Just describe the scenario. Were they playing parties, dances?
Okay, yeah, great. So there's dances. So we had Zydeco dances, but they didn't call them Zydeco dances until early 80s, till early to mid 80s. This when it become Zydeco's. Before that, it was called La La, or the French dance. Okay. We go into the French dance or the La La, right? So my dad and them took care of all those things, and the Creole diaspora, the migrations to Houston, to Texas, and to California and Chicago. We didn't service the Chicago migration, but we serviced the California and the Texas migration, right? So it doesn't matter what kind of life the Creoles were living in popular culture. When the Creole parents were paying for the wedding, there was a French band. And my daddy played most of those weddings. So, you know, the Ardoin brothers played, then my dad started playing it. And then John Delafosse started playing in like, I want to say probably 78, 79 maybe. And then he took off like fire. So the Delafosses, started doing their thing. Right. But so anyway, Amédé Ardoin, Alphonse Boissec, Boissec, dry wood, because that he didn't like to get wet. Anytime it rained, he'd shoot under a tree. So that stuck. That's how it stuck. And then the Ardoin brothers with my dad playing drums and my Uncle Bud playing accordion. Okay. But in 76, my Uncle Bud died. And my dad was like, we can't let this band die, so I'll play. So he stepped to the front in 76. And they played until until I joined the band. I played in the band all my life. At 11, I started playing. So I've been a professional musician since I was 11. So I started playing at 11. And then 15 or 16, I asked my dad, I said, hey, man, can I get some money? He said, you eat, don't you? I said, oh, yeah, but I can eat and I do all this extra stuff. I drive you to the gig.
The businessman starts.
Right. I ride with you to the gig. You make me set everything up. I play the whole gig. I break everything down. Then I drive your drunk self home.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I can't get no money. I ain't asked for a lot. I drive for something. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to come to you for the stuff I want to do at school. This is kind of a work job. Oh, yo, you want to eat? You know what? You sure right. So I can stay my butt home and still eat.
Oh.
So I stayed home. I didn't say that. I just said, oh, okay, well, so you mean I could just.
So you fired yourself?
I fired myself. And then when I went to LSU, I missed it.
Yeah. And that's where we met.
That's where we met, at LSU in 87. And because I started my band.
Yep.
Yeah, Sean Ardoin, A Moment's Notice.
Yeah, baby. And
then it turned into Sean Ardoin and Dreadlock Crescents. Look at here.
Well, and
playing at the Art Bar.
What were you playing? You were playing drums. I know the answer to this, but
oh, in my dad's band?
No. Well, I'm talking about college. But.
Oh, in college. Okay, when I came to college, I got in the marching band. But in my band, I was the lead singer. Yeah. So I didn't play an instrument. I fronted. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I fronted the whole thing because I had Terrence on drums. Remember?
Terrence Higgins. No slouch.
Terrence Higgins on drums, Steve Landon on guitar, Mark Pirro on bass, and Mike Esneault on keys.
Yeah, you're right. What a band.
Oh, my God. We need to do a reunion.
I'm available.
Let's do this. So I got to LSU, and my cousin was playing drums with my dad through the late 70s, early 80s. Yeah. And then he left. He graduated McNeese and left, and my dad had a couple people playing. So I was like, hey, man, instead of getting all these people to play, I'll just come back and play drums with you. I need to get paid, though. Okay. So I came back, started playing with him. And then in 1988, Chris and I took over the band. And that's whenever you joined the band.
Yeah, so I
got you
making those trips to Lake Charles.
I got you to come to the band. So and you know what, Mike? I cannot for the life of me understand how I was a part of LSU Golden Band from Tigerland playing Zydeco on the weekends.
It's quite a mix.
Looking back, I don't know how I did it. I know one thing I did was...
You're just talking about schedule-wise.
Yes. Yeah. I know one thing I did was I didn't take any away games. If they put me if it wasn't a full band away game, if it was a pep band, I didn't take it. I took the gig. But if it was a full band away game, it just always worked out that we didn't have a gig or something. Right. But I don't know how I did that. I did it. Yeah. Like it was done. So then me and my brother joined my dad's band. I joined my dad's band. My little brother starts playing when he was 4, and then when he was 8, we took it over. And from 88 until 99, it was Chris Ardoin double clutch. I've seen myself in front of a sea of people, and that's what I've been chasing ever since. We did it in 94 at the National Mall. We played for the fireworks, the National Mall 4th of July. Okay. In front of 500,000 people and 20 million people simulcast on PBS and NPR. That was amazing. Funny story. I'm playing drums and singing, lead singing from the back.
That's really difficult to do, by the way, for people watching.
Look, it's just what I do. Look, it's what I was doing. So I'm leading from the back, and first 3 songs I sing. And that was whenever those new boards had just come out where you could set the scene and it'll remember your settings. Yeah. Well, when we started, first 3 songs, my mic wasn't on. Oh. In front of 500,000 people, we're playing. and I'm supposed to be singing. I'm screaming and nothing.
Right.
And we only got 20 minutes.
Uh-huh.
So that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. So then that goes on, and we break up in 99. And then in 99, I come up with Sean Ardoin and Zydeco, because it's not your mama Zydeco. It's Zydeco.
Gotcha.
With a K.
Yeah.
Zydekool.
Yeah.
So we did that. And then in 2009, God shut me down. Had, my faith said I just need to take a break. I didn't understand why, but I had ballooned up to 380 something, almost 400 pounds, probably jumped over 400 pounds, but didn't get on the scale, right? I had sleep apnea. Didn't know. We're driving around the country in a Suburban with a 6x12 trailer loaded, and I'm
okay.
and nobody's driving. Band gets in the Suburban, go to sleep.
You're the band leader.
They go to sleep. I'm driving. So shut it down, and then I created Christian Zydeco. First one to do that. That's Sean Ardoin, ROGK, Reflections of God's Kingdom, the one album called How Great Is Your Love. Yeah. Did that, for the people who are trying to transition away from the secular side. And then in 2017, I figured it out, because I've been trying to figure it out. Because when I came back, right, I stayed out for 10 years. So from 06 to 2016 was the 10-year period that I was out. Came back in 2016. And when I came back, all of the Zydeco people that had been touring had not been touring. So there were cover bands who had been able to get spots. And there are people who come to Louisiana and love to dance and then go home and become the czar of Zydeco in their city, in Philadelphia, New York, Virginia, all those places. Right. Well, the price was way down here for Zydeco. And I was fighting. And I was like, man, what is the deal? Why? Because the cover bands were doing it for no money. Right. But you want me to come 2,500 miles away for that same money? Right. That doesn't work. So I was like, okay, so what's the problem? The problem is semantics and branding. If I play Zydeco music, it's whatever you think Zydeco music is. And since the Zydeco hitters from 99 on never left Louisiana because the market was so hot here, right, I'm not going to go to Philadelphia for $3,500 whenever I can make, $5,000-$10,000 on one night
right,
here.
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense. And sleep in my bed, right? So I was like, how can we do this? So it's a branding problem, right? Yeah. So I said, Creole rock and soul. If I don't play Zydeco music, they can't put me in the Zydeco box financially. They also can't put me in the Zydeco box for their expectation, because what we do here in Southwest Louisiana, we weren't exporting. So the people out there, when they book us, they're expecting Clifton Chenier and John Delafosse and my dad from way back in the day, and then we come there with the modern stuff, and they're like, so whether they love it or hate it, it's not what we do. So how do I do that? Creole rock and soul. Yeah. And when I did that, Creole rock and soul, got 2 Grammy nominations for one album. I was like, okay, God, right track. Yeah. 5 Grammy noms later.
When was that?
2018.
2018. Came
out in 2018.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. That was a lot. You didn't even have to ask no questions. I'm sorry. I talked too much.
Well, it's a lot of content.
It's a lot of content.
That's a lot of history right there.
It's a lot.
Man.
It's a lot. I'm writing a book.
When does it end? Like, you got so many things going on.
Yeah.
I thought I knew a lot, and then I was kind of doing my research and whatnot. I'm like, Lord have mercy, he's got this going on and this going on.
Yeah. And then the Cannes Award, the Cannes Award.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, so tell me about that.
So I get called to host a travel doc called Amplify Louisiana.
Where was that produced? Where
Here in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Right. For the Lieutenant Governor's office. They commissioned it to do it, right? So they call me, and just like I did, I'm also a Creole a cultural ambassador.
Which makes perfect sense.
Right? Because the industry at large, the world at large, when they think of Louisiana, they think backwoods and country. Like bad country, not cool country.
I got you, yeah.
They think, backwards, and it's always, they're always making it campy. And I'm like, look, I'll compromise with you, but if you want to make this thing authentic, we don't do that.
Right.
That ain't what we do.
Keep it real.
Keep it real, right? well, I think we should do this, 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 and this. And not go to the people that everybody go to, but go to the people who are actually making a difference. Go to this person, this person, this person, this person, this person. And then you're going to get something.
And you knew those
I know the people.
Right.
Relationship.
Right.
I make the phone calls and go to this restaurant. So they always want to, in Lafayette, they always want to go to Préjean's. They always want to go to, whatever. I said, no, man, we got to go to Little Big Cup in Arnaville. Mm-hmm. That's where it's at.
That's a bad spot. I went there a couple
Shameless
months ago.
plug. Oh, my God. It's like that restaurant can be in any major city and kill.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So we go there, and they're like, oh, my gosh, Sean, this is perfect. I said, yeah. Right, we can do this. So I ended up getting consultant credit for it. Mm-hmm. I don't think I got producer credit, but I got consultant credit for it. And it won the Cannes Award. They submitted it, and it won the Silver Dolphin. Yeah. So out of nowhere, I'm a Cannes Award-winning host now.
Yeah. You just never know, like what things will parlay into.
It wasn't on my list of I wants.
Right.
I want to try to work my way to an EGOT. Right.
Yeah.
I got to figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a Cannes Award.
That's great.
Growing up, in us in the 80s, Entertainment Tonight and whatever the other show was on CBS or whatever, and we're here in Cannes for the Cannes Film Festival, South of France, absolutely. Riviera, and I'm like, wow.
Do you ever pinch yourself, man? Like think
I do, man. You know what? It takes my family, the people closest to me, to pinch me, because I'm thinking, and this is gonna sound funny after I just told y'all all of that. I'm thinking, I'm not doing enough. I got so much stuff I got to do.
Right.
They're like, stop it. They're like, stop. I'm like, no, for real, because I should be here. Because also that there needs to be a financial equation as well.
Well, sure.
With all that success, I was watching something on the way over here. They asked this guy who's got 2 Grammys. He says, hey, man, people think that Grammy winners are millionaires. He's like, far from it.
Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something.
Right.
Yeah, man. So, I have a lot in me. I want to go out. I want to leave this earth empty. Yeah.
Well, I got more things, more avenues I want to go down with you. But,
cool.
But before we do that, I want to play another tune.
Cool. I go where the Zydeco goes. Well, I live my life in the city, but feel home in the country. I party everywhere in between. I go where the Zydeco, whether in Lafayette or New Orleans, Lake Charles, Cali, or D.C. One thing you gotta know about me, I go where the Zydeco goes. I go. I go, I go. I go, I go.
Sean, man, it's great. Always. I can't remember the last time we played music. It's probably back in the late 80s.
The 90s?
Yeah.
90?
Yeah.
Maybe 89, 90?
That'd be about right.
Something like that?
But my point was, it's always a pleasure.
No. It was for the sorority, for Songfest.
When was that?
Probably around 91.
Okay. Wow.
Yep. You helped me out. You
got history, man.
Yeah, you helped me out, man. You helped me out. I remember that.
Well, dude, so, yeah, we were talking about the award, the Cannes Award.
Yeah.
The Cannes. I pronounced
It's
it
Cannes, no S.
Cannes.
You want to say Cannes because you feel like you should, but it's Cannes. I go back and forth, but it's Cannes.
Well, so one thing I do know about you, that you're a member of the Grammy Recording Academy.
Yes.
And you do a lot of work. Like, I know you work with Reed Wick and a lot of other people in that association. This is the Memphis chapter.
Yep.
But you guys are always doing stuff, advocacy work for musicians. Mm-hmm. And so, like, talk to me about that. Like,
I mean, you know, whenever you sign up to serve, I mean, you're just serving. Advocacy is just one part of the picture, but it's a big part of the picture because like stuff that we've done here in Louisiana is a template for the rest of the country as far as the Grammys are concerned and the work that they can do.
Right.
Like one thing is see that I just had a brain for it. I was about to say it. Okay. One thing is like the Allen Toussaint Act, right? What it is, here in Louisiana, we did not have a law that prevented people from using your image and likeness without your permission.
Gotcha.
So like when you die, they can put a picture of you on your face on a T-shirt and sell it and didn't have to ask your family.
Right.
And didn't have to pay your family.
Sure.
So we went and advocated for it and got it passed, you know, and in this, and it was bipartisan support. You know, we were at the Capitol a whole lot. you know,
right.
We advocated to get the film credits and stuff like that. We were part of that movement. I mean, we're just always working to help make sure that the artists are taken care of. You know, in the state, in the state and in the country as a whole. The Grammys is one small part of what the Academy does. There's also Music Cares, and Music Cares helps out like when the hurricanes happen. They bought people's instruments, pay people's rent. They also help people get off of drugs. They come to cities that have the populations of musicians, and they'll have like free dental visits, free doctor visits. They taking care of the musicians as a whole because they know that we are something society needs.
Sure.
But we're also the ones that are most neglected, because it's a cash business or a seasonal business or something that we're not W-2'd, we're 1099, and you know, and so we generally don't have all the accoutrement of a regular job, and so they step in and really help out.
Yeah, that's one thing. Just over the years as a professional musician, but also as an educator for many years, just trying to tell my colleagues, my students at certain points, like you just said, a lot of times musicians don't have the sort of built-in infrastructure in their life when it comes to healthcare or all those other aspects of when you're not playing music.
Right.
And
which is
an organization like that helps quite a bit.
Which is a lot. Like
it is a lot.
When we're talking to young people who are thinking about doing this, it's like you need to understand something. The 30 minutes to 4 hours that you get to be on stage. It's such a small part of what you need to do to get to that point. Right. But that's not what this is. So we can move on. That ain't what this is. So we can move on because oh my God, that'll stress you out.
Right. Well, so in addition to that, like I know that you're involved in certain aspects of like education. Just talk to me. I saw online the Stax Academy.
Yes, my Mosaic. So the two albums was 2 albums ago, not this last album, but the one before that. Because I took 10 years off. That was a lot of music that I had in me. So since I've been back in 2016, I came back in 2016. I did one in 2016, and then I did 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I did an album every year. Okay. And I'm working on 2 right now.
That's a lot of albums.
Look, I'm working on 2 right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did that. So the Mosaic album, being in the Recording Academy and the Grammy organization, I have a lot of relationships, and I give that as a benchmark because that was the album in which all of those relationships kind of just clicked at the same time. People heard I was doing an album, they're like, how can I be down? So I got Eric Gales, I got Kingfish, I got Kenny Neal from here in Baton Rouge, Aaron Spears, his last project on Period before he passed was mine. Yeah. Right? Wendy Moten, Reverend Hodges that played on all the Al Green stuff. Oh, yeah. So we recorded the album in Memphis at Royal. So the same hands on the same organ in the same studio, probably in the same position, is playing on my album.
Wow.
Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Kyrie
Did you
Wynn.
get chills when you're
I did. Every time I go back and look at the videos that we got, I'm like, right? Because I know that guy. I'm with history. Yeah. I'm touching.
You grew up listening to him.
Man, lay your head. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. Them sweeps are on my album. You know what I'm saying? Right. I turned them up, and it's not even mixed right because I want to make sure you hear that. Right? Because that's significant. You don't know it, but it's significant. Kyrie Wynn, who's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with Public Enemy, played guitar on it. I mean, he showed up. It's totally organic. He showed up. He was in the control room. y'all need guitar in this?
I want some of this.
I was like, fool, avail yourself. They got guitars and amps all in there. Classic.
Right.
Go get what you. Yeah. And he played on 2 songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
you can't get more organic than that.
You can't, man. And then Bun B of UGK fame, rap, Southern rap.
Right.
Paul Wall was supposed to do it. Paul Wall was gonna be on this remix that I got now, but Bun B did it. Bun B came through. With No Limit, Mac Phipps. Mac Phipps, who was unjustly imprisoned for 22 years. They took 3 songs that he had written, put them together to say this is why he killed that person, and he didn't do it. But he lost 20. So we were fighting that as the Rap Act here in Louisiana as well. Right. But yeah, that man lost 20. He's on there. Who I know I'm missing somebody. I'm missing people because there was so many people who just showed up. The Stax Choir. I'm sorry. So my friend was like, I got the Stax Choir and we're going to get them on this one song. And I said, well, I just did the LSU marching band.
Which I want to ask you about also. But
okay, we're good. I said, would it be too much to do a choir? Have a choir? Listen, I knew it was going to be nice, but I didn't know it was going to be that nice. So the choir, I have the choir, background singers in my band, right? Oh, man, it's so phenomenal. It's so phenomenal. And it's kids. And so then I put a call out for songwriters all over the country. And I had the songs, and I said, well, the kids write. So I put it out to them. 5 of the songs on a 12-album CD, on a 12-songs album, 5 of the songs are co-written by the kids.
What an experience for them.
Right. I meet them today. And I was on your album. I wrote this song. I wrote this song. I wrote that song. And I'm like, thank you and cool. And what are you doing now? And then I start pouring into them. Right. But anyway, so that album, Mosaic with the Stax Music Academy Choir. Man, there is somebody big that I am missing. The Groove Line Horns out of Austin, Carlos Sosa, and also the 504 Horns. Yeah. With Jason. Mm-hmm. Yep. Somebody, bro, it was star-studded. Didn't get a single lick of a nomination.
Their loss.
It is, but still, I was like, bro, and I went and I politicked hard for it just to go to show you, you can do what you think you need to do to get it, but what you think is not what it is. It's just either going to be or it's not.
Well, what I love about that though, and what I love about you is, you have the history of the Zydeco tradition, and it's all kind of in the lens of that. But you're crossing so many genres.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you listed so many genres just then.
Absolutely. And on the album, that's why I call it Creole Rock and Soul. I created Creole Rock and Soul so that I could be released from the traditional Zydeco idiom, the confines
But it's
of that
still
idiom.
there.
But it's all through my Creole filter. Right. So of the songs that are on that Mosaic album, there's only 2 songs, 1 or 2 songs that are not Zydeco, that you cannot Zydeco dance to.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. All 10 of the other ones you can Zydeco dance to. Now, they don't sound like any Zydeco song you've ever heard, but it's still there. It's in the tempo. It's got the beat. It's there. It's just masked in a popular music context with the accordion and the scrub board.
Yeah, it's funny because, just someone who's grown up, fascinated with jazz music, that's a very much a jazz mentality.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's a gumbo.
Well, y'all influenced me big time. When you were in your heavy jazz phase with George Fontenette and Don Lewis and Roland Garren. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Y'all in here, bro. Picture Perfect. Yeah. Y'all were rehearsing in my house. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it was there, and they were like, Sean, man, you feel good. You should play the drums. Like, y'all don't do enough 2 and 4 for me. Y'all don't do enough 2 and 4 for me, baby.
Well, okay, LSU marching band.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
Well, I was at the Auburn game the year before, so I guess it's going to be 2021. And the band director at the time, he introduced me to assistant band director. He's like, this is Sean Ardoin, Grammy nominee, former Tiger Band, LSU alum, vice president, student body, this, that, and the other. I was like, man, good to meet you. He said, hey, man, can Tiger Band win a Grammy? And I went, well, Doc. I went straight to the band director. Well, Doc, if the Tiger Band does an album with me and my band, we do my music, and we put it in my category, we have a shot. He said, let's do it. Relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now here's the backstory. I had no idea how it was going to happen.
Right.
But the way I rock with God, it ain't my job to know how.
Yeah.
It's just my job to know what. Mm-hmm. And the how comes as I move on. You know what I'm saying? And so I got the songs together. We got the grad students and the students who are arrangers involved. Yeah. So that's all arranged by them.
Where did y'all record?
In the band room. I turned the band room into a studio.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I got my guy to come down from St. Louis. He came with a suitcase of microphones. Mm-hmm. We set it up and we got it done, man. And because of that day, and because I was thinking, and because I wanted to. I'm an LSU alumni. I'm a Tiger Band alum. I love that whole system. Yeah. Because of that day, I was able to give the Tiger Band a Grammy nomination.
Yeah, that's special.
But we made history. Yeah. It was the first time that a marching band and an artist had completely collaborated from front to back. It wasn't a thing where you just had the horns play here or you had the drums play here. Mm. The band played with my band for the entire song. All of the songs.
Yeah.
Right.
So how many tunes are they on?
All of them.
They're on all of them.
Every single tune.
Tell the listeners the name of the album.
The name of the album is called wait. Full Circle.
Full Circle. Okay.
And it's full circle because I was in the marching band in the late 80s wishing that we played popular music. And then here we are 25, 30 years later, the band is playing my music.
Right.
Bruh.
Yeah.
I was on a high.
Imagine telling Sean Ardoin back in the early 90s that would happen.
Yeah, he wouldn't believe it because I wasn't even playing accordion at the time. I was playing drums.
Right.
I could play accordion, but I wasn't leading the band. You know what I'm saying? I was still writing the songs, but I wasn't leading the band. Mm-hmm. Telling 19, 20-year-old Sean, 21-year-old Sean that was going to happen. Wow. No. Yeah. But it happened. So we made history, first of all, by being the first collaboration. Mm-hmm. And then we made history again when it got nominated. First marching band to be Grammy nominated. First college marching band to be Grammy nominated. Yeah. Now, granted, we both can say it. We share that title with the Tennessee State band because they were nominated that year as well.
Were they? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So two college marching bands nominated in two different categories, but Tennessee State went all in and they won.
Okay.
So they became the first college marching band to become Grammy winners.
Yeah. Yep.
So, Yeah, but you know what I'm saying?
Hey, man,
look, man.
History's history, though.
Hey, Grammy nominated lasts forever.
Special.
And it's top
Super
5
special.
in the world.
Right. Yeah.
Top 5 in the world that year.
Well, and you were a huge part of that.
Oh, it was my thing.
Yeah.
Look, they were on my ship.
There you go.
They were riding on my ship, which is pretty cool.
It's very cool, man.
It was cool to be able to bless them. And the kids, oh, my God. Man, if somebody's watching, you can bless them kids, man. Figure out how to bless those kids, man.
Oh, think about how many kids, how many parents heard from their kids, check out what I'm doing.
I meet people now at LSU events, my son and my daughter played on your album. Oh, my God, it was so awesome. Yeah. I love it. I got my vinyl. I got it, They love it. And I made purple and gold vinyl. It's a double it's a double album with purple and gold vinyl. Yeah. Like purple and gold it's a swirl. It's so pretty.
I wish I was around you more. I rarely see you these days, but when I am, it's just you have this energy level that's very contagious, infectious, and that's kind of something else that you're a motivational speaker, so
success coach, motivational speaker, all
so
of that.
Well, tell me about that. Like in
2017, I started on the path of getting certified to be a speaker. I had been following this guy named E.T. the hip hop preacher, Eric Thomas. And his message just really spoke to me. He was really basic and powerful. And so I was like, yeah, man, it's cool. So then he made an offer at one of his conferences to, like, if you want to be a speaker. I was already speaking, but I didn't have it together, Right. And I understand, the buy-in. The buy-in I pay to learn so that I'm now in proximity. So everybody that knows who he is, once I say it's like getting a Maxwell certification. John Maxwell. What is John Maxwell?
I think so, yeah.
Getting a John Maxwell certificate. Anybody who knows that is not, oh, you that? Okay, well, come over here. So I did that specifically for that, but I was already doing the work. But he helped me refine that. So I refined it and I've helped. So I coached Mickey Smith Jr. to the Grammy Educator of the Year. I coached Trey Ardoin to be one of the top state Farm Bureau agents in the region.
But that's real influence. I mean, that's
but
huge.
I have the ability to see gaps and see what the move should be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to know everything about what you do to be able to help you do what you do better. And that was the same way in my band, because I was around Roland and Mark Piro and all these phenomenal bass players, and then it kept going up and up as I got older. I watched what they do.
Right.
And so when I get a new bass player and he's trying to play Lake Charles Connection, right? And he's going, I say, hey, man, it's all right there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't know how to play bass.
Right.
But I understand.
But you know how it's supposed to go.
I know you can do it here. Right. All the notes you need are here. Right. You just haven't exposed that yet. Like when I took an accordion lesson with a master, we here in Southwest Louisiana play up and down. We cross over every once in a while. But he exposed my mind to use the whole keyboard. Because there's like 4 ways you can play something on this accordion.
Okay, now you're opening up a can of worms that I kind of can't resist.
I shouldn't have done it, but okay. I don't even know if I'm able to talk about that, but yeah, okay, go ahead.
Well, so I have an accordion, but it's not.
You have a piano accordion.
It's piano accordion.
Yeah, I can't help you. Not messing with you.
No, you can. You can, because you've been playing accordion much longer than I have.
Yes.
Period. So, well, first of all, is it fair to say that, especially in the formative years, you were self-taught?
I am totally self-taught.
Okay.
Yeah, all by ear.
Except for that one lesson you just
mentioned.
That
one lesson. I paid for 4 lessons. I took 1. He gave me so much. I videoed it. Mm-hmm. I haven't even, because I don't like to practice. Right. I did my 10,000 hours on what I do.
Right.
And so learning how to be a better accordion player is something that I have to work at, but it's not something I need.
Sure.
My thing, I decided at some point that I wanted to be the best performer that I could be. So I command the stage. I move the people. When I'm in an atmosphere, it all works. When I'm in an atmosphere, I can feel what needs to happen. Yeah.
And that's a gift.
It is. You can't teach that.
We both know musicians. We've played with musicians who are phenomenal musicians, but sometimes they miss the boat on that part.
They're usually introverts.
Right. Yeah.
And introverts ain't worried about the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. Introverts are worried about, oh, this is great. I hope you like it.
But if you don't, I'm sorry.
But if you don't, yeah, my bad. You're bad. Because this is phenomenal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My thing is, when people show up to a performance of mine, or any performance really, they're showing up to be entertained.
Right.
So whatever happened in my life before that started, doesn't matter. For this time that they had me, it's all about them.
And so making that connection.
Making the connection, yeah. Right. And I want to make sure that like the old adage, people don't remember what you say to them, remember how you made them feel. Mm-hmm. Well, I want to make sure that everybody leaves feeling great and remembering how I helped them to choose. So when they say, what do you do? People say, what do you do? I say, well, I create atmospheres for people to choose to be happy. Because I can't make you do anything.
Say that again. So what do you do?
I create atmospheres for people to choose to be happy.
Yeah.
And the next question is, really? What's that? I'm an artist. So I play Creole rock and soul music. Right. Because you can't make anybody happy, but you can give an opportunity to choose to be happy. Yeah. If you create that atmosphere.
Well, and guests I've had on this podcast series, a lot of times it comes up where, I'll just say, don't you feel lucky? Like you're working in a field. We are working in fields as an artist. We're expressing ourselves, but to what you just said, you're creating an atmosphere through music, maybe through speaking.
Yeah,
to
speaking, singing,
make people's
performing.
Life better and to have a huge impact on them.
Yes, man, because no matter what the economy does, history shows that people never stop seeking entertainment. Yeah. That's a plus for us. Yeah. We may have to take less money. Right. But we'll still be able to make money.
And I don't care how good AI gets.
It won't be us.
You won't be able to do that.
It won't be because you can't see it. You can't feel that energy from it.
Right.
AI can't give the energy because we are all spirits. Mm-hmm. No matter what side of the religious spectrum you fall on, we are all spiritual beings. We're energy. Yeah. We're energy, and that energy is tangible. It's measurable and tangible. Right. And so when you get in a room with a whole bunch of individuals, there's an energy in there, and some kind of master control has to control that, affect that energy. Sure. And that's who we are. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately for some bands, the energy that they have inside affects what they do on the outside. and that creates a different kind of a vibe. Some people would do better, have more success if they fixed in here before they performed.
Yeah, I get
because that's the only thing they're missing.
Mm-hmm.
Because people don't want to know who they are because they don't get a good vibe from them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't, yeah.
And the other thing I tell people is like, these microphones are hooked to these speakers, which have amplifiers on them that amplify whatever you put into that microphone.
Mm. So, yeah, it matters what you put in.
It matters what you put in there. You know, so I'm going in this atmosphere, and I'm coming to this atmosphere to shift it and to make it so where anything that's not wanting to be happy, and you know, and I choose to make happy, positive music. Now I can talk about negative things, but I told my brother, whenever my son is an artist now as well, I said, hey man, you can talk about negative things, but in your song, give the solution by the end.
Right. Yeah.
So at first I was like, don't talk about anything negative, because there was that song, that 1-800 song talking about suicide.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, I hate that song. My son was like, Dad, did you listen to the song? I said, yeah, let's do it. He said, you listen to it all the way? I said, no. The one day I stopped and listened to it all the way, I went, he gave a solution at the end.
Yeah.
Right? Because as artists, we have a responsibility that a lot of people don't take. But we have a responsibility because people are putting this in their ears and it's programming them. Music is the only thing that can program you without your permission.
Yeah. And you can always, like you said, it can start out as a negative message, but you can always end it
It's a negative fact.
There you go.
And you fixed it by giving a positive solution at the end.
Right.
So now you've given a complete message. They got the songs that just talk about the negative and then end. You've left that person in a negative state.
Right.
And if they love that song,
If they listen to it over
and
and
listen to
over
it
again.
over and over and over,
Yeah.
you just help create a negative being.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
But that ain't what we came to talk about. I'm sorry, bro. My bad.
We're going to end that on a positive.
My bad.
Well, I'm almost afraid to ask this question, but like, because you have so many things going on and such an amazing amount of energy, but like, so what's coming up? Like, what you doing? What you working on?
I'm actually getting into academia. I did a gig at University of Central Arkansas, and this Dr. Adele, she was like, Sean, you realize that you're da-da-da-da? I said, no. because I'm helping. I was working at one point to preserve the language while trying to learn it, right? The Creole language. Yeah. She's like, well, you're this, that, and the other. I was like, oh, cool. I said, thank you for that title. Give it to me and I'll write it down so I can put it on there. And she's like, you ever thought about doing a paper, an academic paper? I said, no, that scares me. I don't want to do that. That's details. That ain't my job. That's a Mike Esneault thing.
Oh, be careful.
Yeah. She's like, no, I can help you. We can do it together. I was like, all right, cool. So so we're working on doing that. And then she's like, UL has this thing coming, this conference, academic conference, and we could submit. Well, we got it. And then he calls me and said, you want to do an artist part? So I'm doing two things at UL. But there's a book that I'm writing. I have a marriage podcast with my wife and I.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yep, called Better Marriage Daily.
Okay.
So we've been married 24 years, March the 3rd.
Congratulations.
Been together 26. And so the theme is Better Marriage Daily, where we teach you we give you tips on how to have a better marriage daily. Nothing's perfect, but we can show you how to, make it better every day if you want. By our mistakes and our successes, you can learn from us. Yeah. And if you've been married longer than us, then hey, take a nugget or two or just listen to it. Right. Or not. But if you've been married less than us, it's the Bible.
There's a lot to be said for experience.
Right. So there's that. Got 2 albums working, and I have this what's right now, We Doing It is my song from my album 25. And my friend Flagboy Giz, who's a Mardi Gras Indian in New Orleans, he did a song called We Outside. And he said, hey, if y'all want to do a verse on this, go on my website, do it, and and we'll put it out. So the whole city of New Orleans, all the famous people in New Orleans, everybody did a verse on his song, We Outside. So it became a thing. So now the city of New Orleans is like, what's your song? We Outside. So I was like, man, I say, hey man, I'm gonna steal your idea. He said, okay. I said, cool. I said, I want you to be the first one on the first reimagining that I do. So I took my first verse off and I offered it to over 80 people. So I got Colombian, Haitian, Mexican, jazz, rock, rap, hip hop, country, Cajun, Zydeco. All the artists that I'm in relationship with, which is a lot. I asked over 80 people to do a version.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And I'm starting to freak out kind of now because I got like 10 of them.
What have you created?
Right. I got like 10 people already sent, 10, 12 people already sent their stuff in. So I kind of started doing the pre-mixing on that. I got it set. It'll be pretty easy. But then I'm doing the video part. Okay. So I'm plugging their video into my video because you have to have a social media quotient. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be a ongoing year thing. All year we're going to be doing the We Doing It thing. And, you know, that's the thing. I have a coffee line. Oh. Creole Rock and Soul Coffee.
I love coffee, man, so talk to me. Did you bring some?
Man, you know what? I looked at the bags as I was walking out. I said, nah, let me just stick to the main thing.
Now you're making it worse. You looked at it. You thought about it.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Creole Rock and Soul with a K. Okay. Coffee company. But if you go to SeanArdoin.com, SeanArdoin.com, you just
say it one more time, a little slower.
SeanArdoin.com.
Okay, simple enough.
You'll be able to get to the coffee. Just click on the coffee, the Creole Rock and Soul coffee icon, and you can go. We have mocha beignet.
Oh, I'm sold.
Oh, right? It's our best seller. We have mocha beignet. We have Zydeco blend, which is the medium dark roast, and we have the Creole pecan. Okay. So if you're wanting to try all three, if you buy all three, thank you very much in advance. But if you buy all three, start with Zydeco, then go to Creole pecan, then go to mocha beignet. Because if you start at mocha beignet,
you're not going to stop.
You're not going to stop. Yeah. You're going to be like, those are good. No, those are good. But I love this.
I mean, talk about a name.
Mocha beignet. Yep. Yeah. Oh, man, look, I'm telling you.
These are your creations? Like, I mean,
No. Look, this guy said, hey, man, do you want a coffee line? And I was like, absolutely, I want a coffee line. Yeah. But I need to know how it tastes. Yeah. And so I had my wife, who's a real coffee drinker, taste it. She was like, oh, my God.
Hey, bro. Thanks for doing this.
Man, thanks for having me, man.
I'm glad we finally made it happen.
I know, bro.
And,
I told you all you got to do is call me, bro. You're like, hey, man, can you do it? Yep.
Well, I was trying to find a time where you might just be in town.
No, I'm never going to just be in town. If I'm in town, I won't have this kind of time to just come and chill. Right. I'm here to do something because it's 2 hours away.
So we made it happen. So what are we playing?
We are playing Keep On Moving. All right. This song is the theme song of the Cannes Award-winning show, Amplify Louisiana. Okay.
And for people who want to check you out no more, you said it earlier, but Sean Ardoin.
.com. SeanArdoin. I'm revamping the website as we speak. I have my friend Jackie Adams of Jackson to Jackson Media, and she said, Sean, I'm tired of your site. You're doing so much, and I don't see all the stuff you're doing with your site, and your site needs to reflect everything you're doing because it's a lot, right? And people need to know. Like the grass is always greener, and the river is oh so wide. Now the leaves are returning and the sun won't shine in my eyes. My mama said, boy, you better use it. You gon' miss it until it runs dry. But I didn't want to listen, now I just gotta wonder why. Why the clouds keep coming and the flowers won't bloom. This can't be my life. I don't know what to do, but I'm gonna keep on moving. Everything will be just fine. All right, come on.
The Arts Council of Greater Baton Rouge would like to acknowledge our generous sponsors, the Shell Corporation, the National Endowment for the Arts, the Louisiana Office of Cultural Development, and the City of Baton Rouge.